Thank you for joining us here on the Coach's Corner. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Okay, we're here today with Taylor Bateman, who's the owner and also a strength coach at Off the Field. He also trains our student athletes, and I just think he's the best. And so thanks for coming on, Taylor.
Yeah,
really glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Coach.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Off the Field, how it started, how you got started with it, and
I actually went to school here, the exercise science pre-med background, and then was going to go into PT, and then started training right after school, started coaching while I was playing baseball here, started coaching baseball at a high school, and just knew I wanted to work with athletes. And I knew that's kind of tough sometimes in the PT world. You kind of work with a gen pop and athletes, and met a guy who took me underneath his wing. We started the company. I was like 23, 24 years old. 3-4 years in, him and I went different ways and took over the company and have been going ever since. We have 2 locations now, opening up a third soon. Have 10, 13 coaches, something like that, 10 plus coaches, big staff, and get to be out here at the College of Idaho, which is one of the coolest things we get to do. So it's pretty cool.
Well, I know you too also wanted to work here with the football team and the basketball team at College of Idaho, which was striking to me, but it was really somebody you were already working for, Judd Benedict, who is a head coach at Mountain View High School, who said, probably a good idea for you to talk to Taylor. And so we did, and it really worked out. And I was most impressed, I think, with one, your passion for what you do and passion for young people, passion for the College of Idaho, but also that you study, that you work really hard, you want to be on the cutting edge. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't the best athlete ever, but I always was trying to figure out ways how to get better. I had a lot of injuries and stuff, which is why I was going the PT route. And there wasn't much in Idaho. There wasn't. I would see people, in other states and the professional organizations in like doing things way different than the way that we did things here. And I was like, there has to be a better way. And again, the first guy that I partnered with, he believed in the same thing. And so our biggest passion was try to learn everything we possibly can from the best guys in the world. And now it's part of our company, like a huge part of our company, and part of like something in their job description. Like every quarter we have to get a new cert or take a new course or do a new deep dive on something, whether it's anatomy of the shoulder or a return to play or a speed side of things or something like that. And that's kind of what I feel like has helped us grow every single year. Like what we're doing now compared to what I was doing 10 years ago, like I'd fire my own ass if I was doing what I was doing 10 years ago, and where we're at now, it's like we're still not even close to having it figured out. But we just know we're always going to try to keep on getting better. And I think the number one thing is we're always going to give the athletes everything that we got. And sometimes we don't have the answer for them, where a guy's banged up or something like that. And we've tried everything. We can't figure it out. It's like, okay, we got to figure out another solution. You know what I mean? And we're not going to BS them or just throw something at them or push them to the side. It's like, okay, we have to figure out how to get this athlete, him or her, back on the court or on the field. And that's, I think, everybody that we hire feels the same way. A lot of C of I grads that work for Off the Field, that intern for us, like wouldn't be where we're at if it weren't for C of I, really, which is cool. And the staff is all feels the same way. And that's a huge thing that we look at when we hire people.
That's fantastic. I think the other thing that strikes me is your collaboration with our athletic trainers, with orthopedists, with physical therapists, not just locally, but kind of even regionally, nationwide. What about that?
Yeah, big mentor of mine always said that you're only as good as your network. And a lot of people in the strength world, like it's my way or the highway. It's old school. It's this way. There's like the conjugate system, the West Side system, whatever it is. It's like everybody just does the own thing, their system, and anything that anybody else does is wrong, And I think that's how it kind of used to be because of lack of communication. And I think it's changed a lot. And even back in the day, the best guys in the world never thought they had it figured out. They're always trying to learn, So for me, we started having injured athletes. We started, that would come to us and want help. And we started working with some surgeons, their own kids, some PTs we were working well with. So to me, it was like, what are you guys doing? Okay, if you're doing that, what should I be doing in the weight room? And not guessing, and then when you work with a great AT that you know is going to give that athlete everything they got. Hey, we just did this with their ankle, instead of just saying, hey, they can't do anything. Hey, let's modify it. Let's do it this way. And it seems like it's so simple, but a lot of organizations like to have their own silos or their own sections, and nobody talks about anything. So that's been something that I've really tried to work out. Now, I've pissed off a lot of PTs. I've pissed off a lot of ATs. Ego on myself. Thinking that I just can know everything, and I've learned that the hard way. And now it's the more I can work together with somebody, the better we can help the kid. And I think the biggest goal is to do everything we can for that kid. Like, we need to protect every athlete, right? And none of us know anything. Even talking with the sport coach, which I think sometimes not being on campus here as much as I'd like to stresses me out, right? Like, if we have a receiver or something like that, and I see something with him, and if I don't get a chance to talk to him before a practice, how is he going to know the modification that he should have? You know what I mean? Cody works his absolute butt off, but he's got 140 guys to work with. You know what I mean? And where it's like, it's the same thing with him. If he was rapping somebody and somebody goes out on the field, it's always tricky. So something that we've really tried to do a better job of is have good communication with PTs, docs, and surgeons. And because they know so much more than we do too, it's like, okay, how can we take what they're trying to do and put that into the strength? How can we take that into the movement side, which has kind of been our niche, is more the speed side, the movement side of things, to where it can help facilitate that and get people back on the field faster.
So what about Yotes football?
Yeah.
What's that been like for you to get started? 4 or 5 years ago or longer?
6
years ago.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome from my standpoint. But what about from your standpoint? What have you enjoyed about Yotes football?
No, it's been it's awesome. So I mean, 13 years in now, and trying to grow the company, I have to coach a little bit less, which I don't love. But one thing I'm not giving up is CFI football and men's basketball here. I absolutely love them. Also, it forces me to be good, with logistics, and sometimes it's me by myself with 60 guys. Hopefully, I get Joe there, and Joe's been a blessing for us. And if we have that, there's so much that we have to do, and so it forces me to always get better. And with CFI football, the craziest thing about it, like even with this team that we have right now, it's like we're in week 3. I don't even have to coach anymore because the leadership, I think the culture has changed with the athletes. All of our best players are our hardest workers, and that's super rare. There's been times where some of our best players, they're just crazy talented, but they don't do much in the weight room, which makes it really hard for a strength coach. But it's not how it is right now. Our best players are the hardest workers. They set the best example, even when they're beat up. It's like, what can I do instead of this? What can I do instead of that? Always trying to figure out more ways. Hey, we got to get another lift in. We're on a bye week. We had an extra lift even this morning, and the squad got after it, which has been awesome. So football has been.
Well, you get excited at games now too. I've seen you jumping around. I've had to hold you back from running onto the field.
Yeah, you go Judd Benedict. You can ask him. Like year 2, I got a penalty, which I thought Judd was going to kill me. Wouldn't be where I'm at if it weren't for Judd. But no, that's my favorite part is game days, being the hype man. I think you asked me to be the pullback guy one time, I think, when I first showed up, and I said no chance. I was like, I'm not going to ruin everybody's vibes. I'm going to definitely be the hype man, And so football, us winning games is been the coolest thing ever. Like I want these guys to win a national championship more than anything. I just feel like how much work they put in, everything that they do for each other, which I think is super rare with teams that we have. It's just to be honest, it's a blessing to be here. It's fun to be around.
And you've been a big part of our success, and that. We talk about that a good bit. But where's off the field going? Where's the company going? Where do you see it going in the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, I think number one, we got to never forget about the athlete. Sometimes it's always about business growth, you know what I mean? And then we've had times where it's like we have so many kids to where it's like, are we not, doing the job that we should be doing? So right now our goal is like what we talk about, is like scaling quality. So it's like, how can we create the systems for every one of our coaches speak the same language? Every one of our coaches coach the same, even like what we talk about. I think, you've probably seen it with our coaches that come here, how we talk to athletes before a session, how we talk to them during a warm up. Like those aren't accidental. Those are like, we're trying to get a feel of the pulse, where the guys are at, where the girls are at. Do we have injuries? Do we have everything like that? So trying to scale quality has been one of the hardest, like a struggle for us. But I think I also love it at the same time. Like I want somebody, if they walk in, like they can see a difference. It's not a PE class. It's not a normal strength coach. We're not a, a boot camp class. Like you come in and we want to be next level. We want to be considered the best, strength conditioning company in the country. You know what I mean? Which we know we have a long ways to go for that. There's some unbelievable companies, but that's kind of a goal for us. So in the area, we want to have 3, maybe 4 locations in the Valley. Like I said, we're on our 3rd one. We're under contract on our 3rd one right now. We want to really push the PT side of things, where we actually might have off the field sports medicine. We might have PT, have a chance to build a partnership with that. Just because I think, like you said, I think the closer we can work with somebody, the closer we can work with like-minded people with the surgeon's PT, and the closer the communication can happen like this instead of through an email or something could be missed. I think it'll be better for the athlete. I want to be a destination spot for kids with ACLs. ACLs has been a huge niche for us, something that we love, and something that just, it sucks, but it's kind of an epidemic right now, male and female, so it's like that's been a huge thing that we've rabbit hole that we've gone down, that we turns out every time we figure out a new knee, it helps me with even our healthy kids. Like half of our warm up with the football program is stuff that I do because I've learned from dealing with kids with ACLs and issues with anterior knee pain and stuff like that. And then the remote side of things. So the big push that we're doing right now is it's tough to put more athletes in-house, with how many athletes we have in our buildings. But we want to coach kids all across the country. And with the capabilities now with Zoom and AI and video and marketing like this, we're training a lot of athletes now outside of the state that we get to talk to a lot. The video helps us a ton. That we can still get a ton of results and ton of success, and we still coach them one-on-one, just like if they're in-house. Those are the big things that we're trying to push. So remote, scale, quality the whole time. So number 1, take care of the athlete, but with that, PT, remote, and then finish this 3rd location and maybe a 4th. But I think that's the goal for us. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that strikes me, and maybe that's our last question, but leadership.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've been around anybody like you who can manage a room like you do, from guys who are not big lifters to guys that are as strong as anybody in the country. So being able to manage those guys, being able to lead those guys, be able to inspire, energize those guys, but also just your hiring, your staff. You mentioned you've hired a bunch of COI guys, not solely, but I've been amazed that these are some of the best guys we've ever had. Some of the most intelligent, smart guys have wanted to come work for you, and I think have really benefited. So tell me about leadership.
I think the cliche servant leadership, you hear it all the time, but it hit me really hard. So when my partner and I split, it was like a huge, like I almost lost off the field. And I had a leader. I had a dad, a business mentor who kind of took me underneath his wing. I had both my mom and dad, but everything was just put everybody else in front of me. Take care of my coaches and take care of every kid that comes in the door. We lost, it was 4 years of 100-hour weeks, sleeping on the floor in the gym and all that stuff, and back to zero financial wise and a bunch of crazy stuff. But just by doing that, within a year's time, we were way farther than we ever were. So to me, it was when you go to leadership in the weight room, our goal is that we never leave an athlete behind. Like we always want to make a contact, a touch, at some point, a communication with every single one of our athletes. I think luckily for my job, I was never the best athlete. And I've been there where it's like I'm next to the guys that are about to go to the NFL and stuff like that. And I'm not there, but I'm, trying harder than those guys. And it's, gives you insecurities, makes you, pissed off that you're not where they're at when you're trying harder than them, So I feel like I can relate with a lot of those guys, And then on the best athlete side of things, we've worked with, Pro Bowlers, we've worked with Super Bowl champions, we've worked with those guys, worked with unbelievable leaders like you guys too. So where I feel like the relationship with them is something that, again, it's not accidental. We practice it with our staff, and we talk about it all the time. Like I'll notice myself when we get into season, I got to keep the main 22 guys, 25 guys on the field. And then it's like, man, I haven't talked to one of these redshirt guys who's going to be one of our dudes that's going to come up, you know what I mean? But I'll tell my staff, like, man, I effed up, I haven't even talked to these 3 guys, So it's something that we're never perfect with. And then with my staff, the goal for me is like, I have to hire guys better than me. especially with how much we have going on now. I have a family, with 2 kids. It makes things a little. I can't sleep at the gym anymore, which is a bummer. But like I have to hire guys that are better than me, and even if they're not, more knowledgeable than me at the time, but that are hungry as shit. Like to me, when like that's we have to always hire somebody that wants to win and is hungry. And I feel like anytime that we've had, maybe every now and again we get a coach who just like gets the degree and they just chill. It'll take 14 days to realize they don't fit in with our staff, and they know that faster than we could do that too. So we've made a couple, hires that I wouldn't say bad hires, but just aren't good fits. But our biggest focus right now is again scaling quality. We have a ton of applicants right now, which is it's cool, but they have to fit with us. They have to have energy, and they gotta love the kid more. I mean, sometimes the kid's hurt, and you got to show up on a Saturday morning with a session you're never going to get paid for, and that's kind of like what my guys do. Wyatt, that comes here, trains for 2 hours, and then he's got a 3-hour break where he's just working out and working here, and then he has to train 3 more hours, and then he comes and trains 4 hours at night. You know what I mean? And it's because, his goal, he wants to be the best strength and conditioning coach in Idaho. And Wyatt's an absolute savage. Wyatt Azevedo, that again, alum from here, and if you hear the teams that he works with. So I think that's our biggest focus. And I've just watched. You watch Dan Paff, the guy that you and I talked about, but you watch the guys that he brings around him. Like he never tells you what he knows. He said, "Hey, I learned this from this guy. Hey, this study from these guys. Hey, when I talk to these guys, everybody thinks he's the best in the world, and I think he is. But he gives credit to everybody else. It's not about trying to be the smartest one in the room. It's just trying to figure it out the right way. So I've been lucky to have some good mentors.
That's great. Well, you're an impressive guy.
Appreciate
and we're really glad to have you involved with College of Idaho football. College of Idaho grad. I don't want people to forget about that. The Yotes are everywhere, and they can't be stopped.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on, Coach. This has been awesome, and CFI's been so good to us, and can't thank you guys enough. Let's keep winning. The Yotes are everywhere, and they can't be stopped. Let's go.
Thank you for joining us here on the Coach's Corner. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation, and we look forward to you following us on our YouTube channel as we continue to engage with the Yotes community. Remember,
Yotes are everywhere!